So typically if your dad was a stud in the NBA, a certified dog, and they helped train you as a kid, more than likely these kids make the NBA the run on with their father's legacy. Some of these kids turn out to be really solid players, even some being Hall of Famers or future solidified Hall of Famers. And obviously some of those kids don't turn out to be so good. But what about when your dad is known as the greatest person to ever touch a basketball? And no, this video is not about Bronny James. But if Bronny could make the league, why couldn't the Jordan boys do the same? Even one of the Jordan boys doubling Bronny's college stats. Now, I think there's no better way to start this off than with the first son, Jeffrey Jordan, and save Marcus Jordan for later, because Marcus Jordan's story is a lot more crazier than Jeffrey's. And they always say, I be hearing that the youngest son turns out to be, you know, the worst, the most bad, the most rebellious. You know, maybe it's not true, but in Jordan's case, it's very true.
And the very first, and I'm assured maybe the last. Look, at Jeffrey Jordan, his network debut. Look at this, folks. Air Jordans, and he's staying awake the whole game to watch Michael come alive today. This, guys, is one kid who'll never have to answer the question, what does your daddy do?
It's the height of 1988, and the year before you got someone who averaged 37 points per game, taking over the league by storm. People calling him Black Jesus. Come 1988, let me average 35 points per game. This was something the NBA has never seen before. It was like seeing a UFO in person. And in 1988, Jordan would have his first son, Jeffrey Jordan. Now, Jordan was coming into his own by this time, and to be the son of the most famous man in America in 1988, well, him and the other MJ being two of the most famous men in America in 1988, but to be the son of Michael Jordan in 1988 and to grow up through that, there will be some people that will expect you to, you know, follow your father's shoes. So it's 1998, Jordan just finished his second three-peat and he's gonna retire. And by this time, Jeffrey Jordan's only 10 years old, and you could probably start training your son by now. In 1992, he even let Playboy magazine know his son could now shoot a free throw at 3 years old. Now it's 1998, Jordan retired. We know he went to the Wizards back in 01, 02. Come the end of 2003, Michael Jeffrey Jordan is fully extensively done with the game of basketball. So by 2003, Michael Jordan's son, Jeffrey Jordan, is the age of 15 years old. And you're probably asking yourself, Michael Jordan, did he train his son to be the very next best thing basketball has ever seen, to keep the Jordan family name engraved in the NBA? So did Michael Jordan train his son? No, he actually did not. He wanted his son to figure it out for himself. Now, Jeff Jordan was the worst out of the two Jordan boys when it comes to college ball, but he was actually highly recruited out of high school. He went to Loyola Academy, but believe it or not, Michael Jordan had a basketball court inside of his mansion, and Jeff Jordan would mention how he would go in there. It's his favorite spot to train, and him by himself would train or with his brother, not mentioning his dad helping them train at all.
We're in the gym right now where I like to spend most of my time either working out by myself or with my brother. I like to just come in here and look around sometimes and just be thankful that I have a gym to come in here and play in.
Now, Jeff Jordan was a lot shorter than his dad, only being a 6'2" guard, but the dude had some crazy bounce.
Yeah. He got a little bounce though, man.
Now, Jeff Jordan is the class of 2007, and here's what a college scout had to say about him his senior year. This young man could put the ball in the basket via the jumper or the drive to the basket. He shoots it well from the three-point line, off the catch, or taking a dribble to get in rhythm. He gets in the lane by utilizing his shot fake. They were high on him, so now it's time to go to college. Where does Jordan's son commit? The University of Illinois. But maybe they weren't so high on him because, you know, he wasn't really a commit. He was a walk-on.
The freshman at the University of Illinois. He wasn't recruited to play basketball here. He came with an academic scholarship and got a spot on the Division I team as a walk-on.
That's a big gamble, but he looked at it as a challenge.
Now, this is where we're going to keep this story short. If you look at Jeffrey Jordan's averages in college, it's worse than Bronny James. He could never average over 3 points per game and just struggled really bad in college. And at this time, by the time he was done with college, Jordan owned the Charlotte Bobcats at the time, which you know as the Hornets, but he wasn't crazy enough to, you know, draft his son to the team just because of some nepotism. So after that final year at college back in 2012, it was obvious Jeffrey Jordan was not ready for the NBA. But, you know, he still went to go work for Nike, co-founded his own company, and his dad's Michael Jordan, so he really has nothing to worry about. But if we get to the infamous Marcus Jordan, the most famous Jordan's son, the one that actually had some potential, but you could also say he's one of Jordan's badass little kids. The 1990-1991 Chicago Bulls season, the very first Michael Jordan championship that would turn into 6. In 1990, Marcus Jordan would be born, and obviously he would live under the same conditions as his brother, Jeffrey Jordan. Now, Marcus Jordan would attend the high school Whitney Young, where he would lead his team to a state championship in the year 2009. Now, he would score 19 points in that victory, but ESPN will only have Marcus Jordan ranked the 58th best shooting guard in the nation. Now, when it comes to bounce, obviously Marcus Jordan has it. He's 6'3". His father had a 48-inch vertical, they say. So, Marcus Jordan could jump out the gym. Now, Marcus Jordan would commit to the University of Central Florida, UCF, in the year of 2009 after his senior year, and his freshman year in college was pretty solid, averaging 8 points per game with a steal. But then his second year there in 2010, he would tweet about spending $50K in a nightclub, saying last night was stupid, $35K at Hayes, totals $50K something the whole day. Damn, going to the pool again today, gotta relax. Which he was investigated by the Nevada Gaming Control Board. But he thought he could just sit back and relax like Jordan. He thought he was Jordan already. Well, he is Jordan, but he's not Jordan, he's just Jordan. But that year, he would have his best year in college, averaging 15 points per game, shooting 40 from the field. And, averaging 15 in college is really, really good. That's like 15 Jeffrey Jordans combined in the one, being Marcus Jordan. He 15x'd his brother's stats. He even had a Sports Center top 10 highlight.
At 7, Central Florida and Stetson. Marcus Jordan steals the inbounds and then the jam. Oh yeah, there's some relation there. That's Michael's son.
I mean, his first game, his sophomore season in college, he had 28 points. People were excited. This is the new Jordan.
Number 3, UCF Marshall. Recognize the name. Jordan. Oh my.
Does that remind you of someone? It's almost like his father's Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Now, Marcus Jordan would actually go on to play one more season at UCF in the 2011-2012 season. His points per game only dropped about 2 points, but it was still a pretty productive season, averaging 13 points per game. Now, in 2012, Marcus Jordan was arrested for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest, but then was later released. Now, as I mentioned, 2012, that was his last season with UCF, where he actually played that last season with his brother, Jeffrey Jordan. Now, you're probably asking yourself, Marcus was so much better than Jeffrey. How come he didn't have the chance to make the league? How come Michael couldn't make no calls to, possibly get this dude into the league? Well, it's simple. Michael Jordan didn't believe in him. He didn't have the work ethic or the drive to reach the next level. And, your dad being Michael Jordan, he's not going to let someone that doesn't have his work ethic go embarrass him. But Marcus Jordan, I think he's the sole purpose for the sour relationship between Pippen and Jordan today.
I seen Michael Jordan play before I came to play with the Bulls. You guys seen him play. He's a horrible player.
When season ended and it's off season, how often did you guys hang out on off season?
0.
Wow. That's hard to believe, Scotty.
Yeah, it's hard to believe because it's absolutely not true. You don't win 6 championships without any type of chemistry. You telling me they never hung out in the offseason? Listen, there's a real problem behind closed doors, and I'll tell you what it is right now. It's Marcus Jordan. He's the sole problem. Well, really, it's Larsa Pippen. But in 2022, they would announce the relationship. Yes, Michael Jordan's son would engage with Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. She's 16 years older than Marcus Jordan, and she married Scottie in 1997. So rumor has it that she was around, with Jordan and Scottie, in the house while they were hanging out, and Marcus Jordan was just a little boy. Why do I kind of feel bad for Scottie? You know what I'm saying? Flash forward 30 years later, now they're boyfriend and girlfriend, Marcus and Larsa. Now, when MJ was asked about the relationship between Marcus and Larsa, he did not approve of it at all.
Michael, do you approve of your son Marcus dating Larsa Pippen? And kept short and sweet.
I mean, why would he though? He probably thinks it's a W on his son's end, but on Larsa's end, it just makes her look weird. Now, when Scotty was asked about this, obviously he wasn't too happy.
Hey Scotty, how are you? We know Larsa and Marcus are an item. Has Marcus reached out to you? Everyone
You all good, Devin. I'll get it.
Everyone wants to know, how do you feel about the relationship?
I need to change.
Were you annoyed?
He just ignored them, which I don't blame him. Which Marcus and Larsa would split apart in March of 2024, but shortly later that year, he was seen out with his new girl and seen snorting some type of white substance. Now, as a billionaire father, I think it's obvious that Michael Jordan is giving his son some millions, you know, a little bit of money, and nothing's wrong with that as a billionaire. I think you should give your family, you know, the ones you created, especially some money. But you know, with money being that accessible, sometimes people fall into problems, and one of the two kids being Marcus Jordan, he has drug and alcohol problem. If we flash forward to February 4th, 2025, 13 years after Marcus Jordan would play his last collegiate level game, while driving in his $300,000 Lamborghini Urus, he was taking the cops on a little chase, we like to call it, or you know, a little run, all while being drunk, and he would actually get away.
600 high rate of speed.
But he would end up driving his car into railroad tracks where cops would further catch up with him. And he would even use the famous, well, guys, I'm Michael Jordan's son.
I'm Marcus Jordan. I'm Michael Jordan's son. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just trying to get home, and I made a wrong turn.
He would end up getting arrested and getting booked in Florida. And I don't know if you guys are going to believe me when I say this, but yes, there was cocaine in the Urus that his daddy probably paid for. So he's definitely cooked. It's just the sad case of being the son of someone that is a world icon.